Manx Radio Podcasts, powered by Shaw.
Hello and welcome to the first in the new series of Countryside's podcasts here on Manx Radio with Kiri Kermode and myself, Simon Clark. And we've had a few weeks off, haven't we, during the election and things like that. And how is things on the farm, Kiri? Busy enough?
Yeah, very busy at the minute. The dry weather certainly helped to get the harvest in, and it's tupping time as well. So the sheep are all in their groups ready to see their new boyfriends.
Yeah. What? How many would you have on the farm?
At the minute it's just the pedigree ones, so we have 250 of those getting ready for the ram. But the other ones are later in the year.
Yeah, and a bit of, I suppose, the people saying about the crops are in, they've been harvesting, the combines have been out, and a bit of mixed reaction, I suppose. Yield's not bad, but bit of trouble with the height, the straw.
Yeah, they said that it was considerably warm up in the north of the island, especially this summer, so they haven't got quite the growth. So there's not much straw about, apparently, but I think the yields haven't been too bad, though. No,
I took a trip as well to speak to John Quayle at the Jurby Country Fair to find out a bit of history about it and why that they hold the event. So that was very interesting. So stay listening for that one. And also the Food and Drink Festival, a quick look back on it because obviously we're covering it, and just got the views of Audrey Fowler, the marketing director for DEFA, just to find out, because it really was a great opportunity for whatever part of the industry of food production or drink production that people are on the Isle of Man. It's the perfect and ideal place for them to try and set their stall alight, so to speak, isn't it?
That's right, and you can also meet the producers and see where it comes from and see what effort goes into making these lovely products. And it was nice that you can have a chat, and all sorts of people, from Christmas puddings to meat, the drink. It was fab. It was a really great place for people to get.
Yeah, and you were mixing with the celebrities.
Yes, Gareth Wyn-Jones, celebrity hill farmer. He certainly brought the room down. He's a real character and so passionate about food production and how it's grown, and to get a good return to the farmer from whatever product they're trying to sell. And he's very, very inspiring.
Yeah. So he'll be in the programme as well, so sit back and enjoy Countryside.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, welcome to the new series of Countryside. We've had a bit of time off, Kiri, haven't we? Plenty to be doing on the farm, of course, at this time of year, though, for yourselves.
Yeah, but very busy time at the minute. We're trying to get the corn in, straw baled, and also it's tupping time. Yeah,
I mean, when you say about trying to get the corn in, is that the harvested stuff?
Yeah,
still in. You're not sowing it already.
No, we're just trying to harvest the oats, and short supply of straw. So I hear this year with a bit of drought up north. So things are going to be quite tight this winter, I suspect. Yeah,
I've seen some crops there that just didn't have the length. I suppose the yields would be fairly good off them, but the straw didn't seem to have the length that it's used to normally. But I haven't heard too much complaints from the farmers.
No, grass is growing well at the minute. I think people are quite happy with their silage crops, and it's a nice time of year. Plenty of sunshine at the minute, so hopefully it'll be a nice back end, really.
Yeah. Well, we were at the Isle of Man Food and Drink Festival, of course, the other weekend, and very successful it was as well. I was there on the Sunday, and after being round for the day and in all the various tents that were really supportive of the Manx people who were there promoting the Manx produce, and I caught up with the marketing director for DEFA, Audrey Fowler, and asked her opinion of how the event went.
We're really pleased. This is our 8th year now, and it's steadily grown every year. More exhibitors than ever before. We've had 60 exhibitors this year. Lots of new outside caterers, all using Manx produce. This is only a good thing. This is brilliant.
What's attracting them to this? Is it because their new business is starting up, diversification, and they want to sort of advertise that they've got something new?
Yeah, I mean, I think they see the Isle of Man Food and Drink Festival as the place to be, to show people that they're using Manx produce. More and more people are bought into buying local now, so they see that as a good business opportunity. And
it's nice that the Isle of Man creameries and various parts that, maybe we don't need to see them because they're well known and established, but they still come.
Oh yeah, no, I think we do need these established businesses here. The Isle of Man creameries, Laxaglen flour mills, they are our representation of the farmers out there. And the public do still want to see these people here, even though there's new artisans coming along all the time.
One thing, I spoke to some of the ones over there with the South African and African stand there as well, and they said, well, we have to import a lot of spice and things, but we still maybe use 50% of Manx stuff whenever they can.
Yes, that's right. We've not only got the African ladies there, we've got Thai and Jamaica. They're all using Manx produce in their cooking. And they're going back to their restaurants and their outside caterers, all promoting Manx.
What about the cookery demonstration side of it? Has that gone down well again?
Yeah, sure. We've had lots of diversification in that theatre this year. We're not just doing the chef competitions, but there's other new people there experimenting with Manx produce. Yeah.
I suppose there's more of the home chefs now. People trying to make things a little bit different at home, isn't it? Because of all the television programs and stuff, and they can still learn something from even the people just selling it here. They've got ideas of how they would maybe cook their queenies or do this with pork and what have you.
Well, every year we try to introduce something new, and this year we tried the Taste and Talk marquee, where people are at home or experimenting in their kitchen, but they're not quite sure what the public's opinion is going to be on it. We had one lady doing Manx soup, all made with Manx vegetables and things, but she wasn't quite sure how far to go with it. And she's got the public's opinion, got them to mark on a little survey what they thought, and she's quite confident to do something now, you see. So there's others like that. So we're hoping to give people a stepping stone here to grow their business.
And not just food, the drink side of it, the people from Camera here and the apple orchard and things like that. So lots of drinks trying to be made and manufactured on the island.
Yeah, we've got Bifrost, they're new here this year. Well, they were here last year, but they're trying out new products all the time. Yeah.
And Gareth Wynne-Jones, what's he made of it?
He's been a real star, talking about farming and the diversification that we all need to take on board. He's been really inspirational for us all.
And of course he's been featured on the Hill Farm television series, and obviously from the hills in Wales, and there'll be a lot of the Isle of Man that's similar to what he's used to as well.
Yeah, sure. I think the Manx National Farmers Union took them out on Friday and had them up on the hills and seeing other sheep farmers and actually talking to the farmers at the mart there on Friday night. So it was a really good evening. Yeah.
Has it got easier to organise?
Well, we've got a really good template now, and it just needs tweaking each year. You need to be having the established things there, but also bring in something new, because everybody wants to see something new. So I think we've got a really good mix going on here.
And you've had various venues, but some people will think the Isle of Man Food and Drink Festival in the middle of the Villa Marine Gardens. But I suppose the country people who go to all the farmers' market and things are out in the country sport anyway. And this gives the town people maybe a chance to see what's there.
Yeah, well, I think if you go back to the original days, we always felt that it should be going to the town, and we had not that many venues around, but the Villa Marina does show off the Manx produce to its very best. I mean, as for a government spend, you're bringing people into Douglas and they're actually going down the street. We've heard that the street is much busier for the 2 days of the festival. So that is a really good government spend there. We're breaking even now for the Food and Drink Festival. We're on our 8th year, we're able to break even. This is a really good spend with over £100,000 being spent here for the 2 days, and more because there's new businesses getting made between these exhibitors that we can't actually put a price on. So we're well over £100,000 spent, so a really good way of spending government money, really. Yeah.
And promoting the Isle of Man and its wonderful produce.
We have had word that we've had people from Fleetwood, Sweden, Germany, come specially to this festival, and tying into other business opportunities that are here. So it's an experience for them, isn't it?
So we got two of the younger generation. What's your name?
Jake Jensen.
Now, you come from an Isle of Man farming background, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you have on your farm?
Cows, sheep, some chickens, 1 or 2 bulls. Well, that's it, really.
Well, that's plenty, though, isn't it? And do you learn a lot about the farm, and do you help out a lot?
Yeah, helped out this morning, just delivering some meal up to the cows in the fields.
So it's not just about driving big tractors, is it?
No, there's a big cycle on the farm, and it goes round and round and round, like a life cycle, sort of.
Yeah, and does your dad always get finished at 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
No.
No. It's a lot of hours to put in, isn't it? Would you like to be a farmer on the farm when you're older?
No.
Why? Too much work in it?
Yes.
Oh. But what else do you help out with?
Not much really. I'm not really helping on the farm much. I don't really enjoy it.
Do any of your brothers or sisters help out?
Yeah, my little brother helps out. He enjoys it quite a fair bit.
What would you like to see your farm grow or be into on the farm? Or are you happy enough with the chickens, cows and sheep?
I'm happy enough with all that. Yeah.
Good man. All right. Thanks for talking to us.
It's okay.
There we are. Two of the youngsters enjoying the hospitality that was put on in the Isle of Man Creamery's tent, giving the youngsters plenty to be getting on with, and given their views of farming in the future, whether they'd like to into it or not. And before that, Audrey Fowler, the marketing director for DEFA, with a very positive outlook on how the event went, Kiri.
It was a very busy weekend. There's lots of people attended. I went on the Sunday afternoon also, and yeah, the place was packed and lots of people buying stuff, buying local Manx produce, and it was really, really nice to see.
The good thing about that sort of event is they're not just walking into somewhere now, are they, and having a look at it. There are actually places there that are cooking it for them there and then, and, you know, special offers. So it's a great chance to promote it. And sadly, that's what's needed, because people are sort of going, oh, well, it's 20 pence cheaper, but you know what you're getting, and they were proving it on the day, weren't they?
That's true, and they were also able to speak to some of the farmers, especially on the meat counters. They were able to see where the farm is, where it's produced, and they're selling it for themselves, and it was really nice to see.
Yeah, and it could be an interesting time, I suppose, Kiri, ahead for the agricultural world in particular, we're talking about, as well as the fisheries and forestry, because obviously the former Minister for DEFA, Richard Ronan, retired now from politics, and they'll have to pick a new minister, so there'll be lots of, I suppose, chatting around the marts and sales from the Manx farmers of maybe who they'd prefer as Chief Minister, won't there?
Yeah, change is always quite good, but Manx people don't always like change, which is always a bit controversial. But yeah, quite exciting times ahead. Surely we'll drive forwards one way or another. Maybe
the guest at the Isle of Man Food and Drink Festival, Gareth Wyn Jones, would be a Chief Minister, of course, from the BBC Hill Farm series. Yeah, you were chatting to him, were you? Yeah, Gareth is very passionate about agriculture. He's doing a lot to promote the agricultural industry, especially in North Wales. He puts a lot on social media, Twitter. He's very well followed by just general public. And he had a packed schedule when he was on the Isle of Man, so just recently I've caught up with him to see what he thought, reflecting back.
Oh, the welcome was unbelievable. I was not expecting that kind of welcome, and the way people were was just moving, really. You know, they came to pick me up from the airport. I got to meet so many unique farmers. Yeah, I've got something really special to sell, and, you know, the stock was in top form. And do you know what, Kerry? We went for a spin with Ian, went to his farm. We did a bit of a lunch and a bit of an introduction, and then he said, right, come into my place, I've got a quad for you. And then he said, right, we're going to go up onto the mountain. I absolutely loved it, because it was just, I wasn't dressed for it, actually, because I had my best sports jacket on. And I was covered in muck.
Oh, no.
You know what? I loved every minute. Yeah, and it was like, really, because I can see the same landscapes and the same type of people, you know, the hills and the lowlands. Yeah. And I think you live in a beautiful area. And what I noticed by travelling up the mountain was the diverse wildlife you've got there as well. I counted at least 16 mountain hares there. And, you know, that proves to me that agriculture, nature and wildlife can work together.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's important. I think we don't sell enough of that as ourselves, you know, as an industry, that we are custodians of the countryside. And I think the Isle of Man's got so much to offer.
We're very lucky, the island, with it being protected, you know, with the water right round us. You know, how does it compare to Wales? You know, you're a bigger island, but, you know, we have a lot of opportunities, I imagine, here.
You know what? I can see so much opportunities to sell what you've got. You know, especially the lamb. I had 3 lamb dinners over there.
Oh, wow.
They were trying to convert me. I've even got some Manx sheep coming over here in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, goodness me.
You know, people are just so kind, you know. It's just us with the Manx NFU and your government. But again, going back to the lamb, you know, and the beef and, you know, the produce you've got there, I think you could sell it a lot better. I think you should have a PGI on it, you know, and get people to understand that, the connection with your island and the sustainability. I didn't know that you were TB free as well. Dairy sector's doing really well there. Your cheeses are being sold everywhere. You don't have varroa in your honeybees. These are all fabulous ways that you could be selling your produce, and especially now, we're in a very, very difficult situation. I think
we are.
Brexit, and we need to look for new markets. And I invite 25 American guests here every Saturday and sometimes on a Monday as well, and I talk to them. And they want to learn, they want to come to Europe, they want to meet unique places like the Isle of Man, like my hill farm. And I think you guys should be looking at that kind of market as well, so you can have some agri-tourism, get people educated, and that will open the door again then for when these guys go back to the States, to wherever they live, and they'll say, oh, we tried that lamb, we tried that beef, the pies and the food and the Manx cider was really good as well. And get all these things, get that buzz going, because I think today, as farmers, we're very, very good, very efficient at production, but very poor at selling. And we need to change. We need to be more business-minded. We need to sell what we do, because a lot of us work really hard to produce this food, and we don't think about the sales side of it. We just put them lambs in a trailer, close the back door, and that's it. It's forgotten about. But that can't be the case. We've got social media, we've got opportunities where we can invite people into our lives and sell some of the most amazing produce, I think, in the world. You're very, very similar to us. You've got something unique to sell on the island.
People talk about buying local, the food miles, these cheap imports. Sometimes you hear it time and again, oh, we're a big family, we can't afford, your produce is so much dearer.
Yeah, and cheap food has a cost, Cheap food has a cost to the environment, and it has a cost to us as a nation as well. And I think investing in our children, investing in a healthy, balanced diet, and not being a throwaway society, because I think, Kiri, myself, when you see people buying 4 burgers for £1, and they might be poor, these people might be poor and they can't afford it, but that gives you an idea of that food is throwaway. So they'll eat half a burger and they'll throw it away. I'd much rather people paying £3 or £4 for a burger and eating it all, and eating it maybe 3 times a week instead of every single day. And I think this is the way, as a nation, as a country, we want to move forward and be more sustainable, because, the people in the world, the numbers are growing, and they're always going to have to eat. But, to be sustainable, we can't be any more efficient. We can't cut any more corners. Food's got to be more expensive, but we've got to have a respect for the animals we produce as well. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into producing our lamb and beef and things. And I don't think it's right to throw that in the bin. I think, that animal's given its life, and we've worked hard to produce it, and I think it should be respected. And I think, it should be paid a fair price across the board for all farmers. We don't want to be millionaires. We want a fair price for what we produce, and we want a fair price for our customer as well. And we want them to enjoy, and I mean this, enjoy tasty, wholesome food, seasonality as well, and I think the Isle of Man could be a blueprint for the whole UK. I'd love to see you guys be self-sufficient and growing more of your own produce. You've got one big supermarket there. I spoke to them. I think they're keen to get on board to get more local produce in there. I'd really like to see that happening, because they're big players today. It doesn't matter how we look at it. I'm one of the biggest people that have said so much about. We won't go down that line, but I've said a lot about supermarkets. But we've got to be realistic. There, 80% of the food bought in our country is bought through the supermarket. There is a niche for the local and the smaller shop and the butchers every single day of the week. But again, we have to work with the supermarkets, and I think the big processors and the big supermarkets could do a heck of a lot more. And I think somewhere like the Isle of Man has an opportunity with government, especially now when you've just gone through your elections. It's a great time. And I'd love to see it happening because, we as a nation then could look how they've done it. And I think, Kitty, that mixed farms are better for the nature and wildlife. Instead of all your eggs being in one basket, as a farm, if you've got a bit of pigs and you grow a little bit of cereal, keep some sheep and you've got some chickens and whatever you do, mixed farms are better for the whole environment. And food doesn't need to travel hundreds and thousands of miles. We can grow it here. We've done it for generations. And we're in a situation now where only 60% self-sufficient. So 40% of food is imported. So if you make that as a sum, by the end of August, if we didn't have imports, this country, Great Britain, would go hungry. Yeah. Now, that's not right to me. I think we need to change that, and we need to be more sustainable and not dependent on imports, and watch after our own country and our own people, and start from the bottom, from the ground, from the farmers, work together.
That was Gareth Wynne-Jones, the celebrity farmer, on his visit to the Isle of Man.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, there isn't that many events going on in Jurby, especially at this time of year, but one particular one that's been going for many years is the Jurby Country Fair. There's a lot going on behind the scenes of it, and I caught up with John Quayle.
This is the fourth one we've had now, the object being to raise funds for the Jurby Endowments Committee, who then help elderly people in the parish towards heating costs during the winter months, especially around Christmas time.
Well, we'll come back to that in a second or two, but today you're very honoured to have one of the police dogs and the handlers there today.
We were honoured to have the police dogs here, and they gave a short demonstration of how the dogs work in checking out people for drugs, etc. It's a shame that they couldn't be outside today because of the weather, but that's one of those things. But we were very appreciative of them turning up, as the dogs are not far away, of course, just at the prison.
Other thing was that so many people have come and they've made tapestries and crocheted things and made dolls, homemade cakes. It's been a real community effort, hasn't it?
Yes, there are quite a number of people who have supported it with produce, etc. Today, particularly the vegetable side, with tomatoes, potatoes, cabbages, beetroots, which seem to have been a good crop all round this year. We thank all those that have given towards that.
It's gone back a long way, though, isn't it? It's called the Endowment Committee, or the Endowment Fund now. I mean, how far back does it go?
It was started by the Board of Social Services way back in 1951. Previous to that, it was called Poor Law Guardians Committee, and that committee had very little money, but sometimes the government itself gave money to that, and in turn that committee gave some money out to assist those people who were poor, which is what poor law is, way back in before 1951. But from 1951 it was formed. Every parish had an endowments committee, and to be on that, it's made up of 5 people who have to be living or residing in that particular parish. One of those had to be appointed by the church, and they sit and consider if people need help. Even in hard times during the summer, sometimes they would assist here and there with money towards maybe keeping the electric on in a house, because the people just not afford it at the time.
It's a sort of anonymous thing as well, John, isn't it?
Well, the committee it's an awkward committee to be on in a way, because we often hear people saying, why can't I get anything? And people used to think that when you got your old age pension, you were entitled to something from the endowments committee, but it's not that way. The committee have to sort of look around the parish and try and suss out, if that's the word, whether we think that somebody is in need. Many a time we get it wrong, and you can be embarrassed sometimes by it. But some do, and we usually go to anybody that we think that might be deserving and ask them first, would they accept it? And not everybody does, because they think it's charity, and not everyone will accept charity, which it's maybe an old-fashioned way, but that's the people are proud and they don't always accept.
Is it still helped by the church or by government?
No. About 3 years ago, most of the endowments on the island have now closed.
So it's fairly rare, the one at Jurby?
Yes, there's not many endowments now on the island. I do know of some of the parishes that have wound up the little bit of money they had and either gave it to something else in the parish and closed their accounts and closed the endowments committees over. But Jurby is one of the ones that is still going quite strong.
John Quayle talking about the Jurby Country Fair and its origins and really what it's all about, the money raising in it, and of course the sort of, when you hear like of coal funds and things like that, Kiri, it's marvellous, these little sort of secret things that have been going on for years, anonymously giving people something towards heating and stuff like that, the needy.
Yeah, traditions, it's nice to see them continue, and especially in the modern day, lots of things are getting lost, but country fairs are a great way for people to catch up. And yeah, the giving to the needy has always been a nice part of the Manx way, and it's nice to still see it happening.
Yeah, have you got a fiver you can borrow me?
50p.
Another event that's going to be on is in Jurby, at the Jurby Harvest Home. That's happening on Sunday the 2nd of October. And of course the church and schoolrooms, they'll be decorated throughout with colours of autumn gathered from the gardens and hedges. And there's all sorts of things from jams, chutneys, cakes and teas, and probably a lot of country folk that'll be there as well.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
There we are. That was this week's Countryside, the first in the new series. Of course, we'll be continuing every week with the programme, Kiri and myself. And if you've got anything for Countryside, let us know. Leave a message for Kiri Kermode or Simon Clark here at Manx Radio, or you can send an email to countryside@manxradio.com. It's as simple as that. We'd love something new and diverse for the programme, just like farmers are trying to do.
That's right. Keep it fresh.
So until next week, from me, Simon Clark.
And me, Kiri Kermode.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't sit in the slow lane. Join the fast lane right now with Shaw's all-new Superfast Plus broadband. Enjoy more bandwidth, amazing speeds and the best value on the island from just £23.95 per month. So don't be left behind. Get a piece of the high-speed action with Superfast Plus broadband from Shaw. For details, visit our stores in Douglas, Ramsey and Port Erin or click shaw.com. Love being Shaw. Terms and conditions apply.